Welcome, and thank you for tuning in to the Human Training Your Dog Has Been Begging You For podcast. I'm Charles, co-founder of Canine Culture Dog Training. With today is my wife and co-founder Laura, also the head of training here at Canine Culture.
Hello, good morning.
We have senior trainer Julie.
Hi.
And head of evaluations Wyatt.
Hello.
And the four of us not only comprise the leadership team, but also the ownership team here at Canine Culture. And as the leadership at Canine Culture Dog Training in Dallas, our intent with this podcast is to help you make good choices with your dog, learn better ways to communicate, and have a dog, ultimately, that's a joy to live with because you are a stronger leader for your dog and you understand how to be fair and set reasonable expectations, and you've helped your dog understand what those expectations are. So welcome to today's podcast. Today we're going to talk about some of the favorite dogs that we have trained over the last couple of years and why those dogs are our favorite. When any trainer is training a dog, you get you develop a bond. You can't help it. But every now and then a dog just kind of really just establishes a deep, deep bond. And one of the advantages is, since we also do boarding for dogs that we've trained, it just makes my day when I see a dog that I've trained come back and stay with us. So I'll usually kind of let them hang out in my office for a little bit and get some extra time with that dog. So that's what we're going to talk about today, why those special dogs became so special. And sometimes it's hard to put a finger on it. Would you agree, Julie?
Yes, I definitely would agree. I think for me, it was hard to pick a dog because I have some dog choices from before coming here as well. But what I noticed with the dogs that I trained here is that the ones that made a difference in my training were the ones that were obviously just more difficult. So either human aggressive, fear aggressive. And the one that pops to mind was Blue. Blue was an 8-year-old Chow Chow. I remember the first time Laura told me that I was going to get this dog, and everything in me was not excited about it at all. Like, I was just not looking forward to it, but I was like, okay, I guess I just gotta
rip the Band-Aid off and figure it out.
Right. So one of the things that we do here at Canine Culture is that we actually have notes that talks about the different evaluations that we have going on and things about the dog or about the owner. And in Blue's folder, it was describing that he was just very aggressive, human aggressive, and old. I think to me, when I see those two things, an old dog plus an aggressive dog, I just automatically think this dog is going to be so complicated because he's stuck in his ways.
Right.
He's stuck in his ways. He's been like this for 8 years.
And he's going to be like this
now?
for
Right. So that was really the complication that I ran into. I wanted to know, why did they want to get this dog trained now? And so naturally, I remember when I started training him on his first day, everything was so just hard. He didn't want to have anything to do with me. I honestly didn't really want to have anything to do with him. And so it was very difficult kind of us dancing together and figuring out how to get that training going. But he was a pivotal aspect in my training career, I would say. He taught me how to truly apply like things that I learned in school towards him and actually into a real life training scenario. And I feel like he really made me switch sort of the way that I was training. Before I was very methodical, whereas once I got Blue, I started being more relationship based, which is very much how we do things here anyways. So yeah, that was Blue.
And you didn't get bit?
No, I did not.
Nice.
Blue was sketchy as
I know.
Yeah.
He was a bit sketchy for the first couple of days.
Yeah.
Actually, he was sketchy
Still.
for quite a while.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because he's a chow chow.
He definitely transformed. Chow.
So Wyatt, what about you?
Again, lots of choices. I'd say one of my favorites is Pasco.
Yeah.
Yes.
We all call him Passy. That nickname, I hope, stuck. Pasco was a doggo Argentino. He was rescued from a dog fighting breeder. I mean, he was a puppy when they got him, but I mean, the rest of his litter was used as a feeder dogs when they did break up the dog fighting ring. Pasco had a couple different families. His first one was the lady that they rescued him. She got him from the rescue, but then she had like 12 dogs and it was a mild hoarding situation. So her daughters ended up with 3 of their dogs. They already had 2 dogs. And Pasco's this young doggo Argentino in a backyard with 5 other dogs. And of course, he picks up the bad traits from every single dog in the house. And he's just getting aggressive, and he's very reactive, and he has anxiety
Not
problems.
super dog friendly
Not
at all.
Then we started training him. Pasco, we had to work through a lot of his fear. And eventually we did get him to the point where he was playing with one of my personal dogs, Pickles. And
Yeah.
those dogs would play for hours.
I remember one of his moms cried
Yes,
when
she
she
did.
came in and saw your Pasco playing with one of your dogs.
Yeah,
Because that wasn't even something they were hoping.
No, well, we were just looking for civility with
Right,
Pasco.
right. Just have good manners. Quit
He's a
trying
doggo
to beat him.
Argentino. He was bred to fight things, and he loved Pickles. Pasco was awesome. It was a big transformation from a really sketchy, anxiety, nervous dog to a very
And intensely
confident,
reactive.
happy. Yeah.
I just remember how happy he was at the end.
Yeah.
Like, the way he would move his whole
Oh,
body
yeah.
like a worm.
Yeah, his tail would go helicopter mode. It wouldn't go
Right,
side to
right.
side and go in full circle.
Yeah, he's a good boy.
He was a good boy. Yeah, he reminds me a little. Both of those dogs, and it's funny that one of my favorites also had some aggression issues. And Moose, a German Shepherd. I remember when I did the evaluation with him, he kept lunging across the table, and thank the Lord, his owner had a fabulous hold on the leash and harness, because he would hate me. He just straight up wanted to eat me during the evaluation. And when I was talking to the owner, she'd said before COVID, he was actually indifferent to people. But then COVID hit, and he was a year old when it happened, and then he lost all social skills. So that made me feel good that we could probably bring him around, but he was so intense, I wasn't sure. But with every human aggressive dog, when we first start working with them, we will have a muzzle on if we think we're going to get bit. My favorite aspect of any human aggressive dog is when, for me, it's the reveal of when the owner comes in and picks him up that day, and they don't have a muzzle on when they come in. Just the look on their parents' face. Oh my God, the muzzle's off, and he didn't eat you. Yeah. And what was crazy is he was so intensely people aggressive, and I don't know, 8-9 months later, he was in their wedding.
Yeah.
I never got to meet Moose, right?
I don't think so.
No.
Yeah,
Was he the one that we fixed in one day?
No.
No.
It was a different shepherd. Moose
Yeah,
that-
there
Yeah,
was,
we've had a lot of
quite
mooses.
a few mooses.
Moose is a
and
very
they
popular
tend to be aggressive.
Shepherd, yeah.
I don't know why that is. If someone tells me we have a moose coming in, I just automatically assume they're aggressive because the majority of the mooses we have trained have been human aggressive. But yeah, 8-9 months later, he was part of their wedding with all of these people. And I mean, you wouldn't have let that guy off a leash anywhere near other humans.
No.
So, and he just loved affection. Turned out he really just loves affection. He was very fulfilling.
Yeah.
I love that transformation. How about you, Laura?
When I
Oh,
pick
wait. And his mom was an awesome owner.
awesome owner.
She just, like, you gave her homework, man, she was Johnny on the spot doing it. And next week we were ready to advance because she rocked.
I mean, it's the only reason he made it to the wedding.
It is
Yeah.
because of all the hard work that her mom and then her dad, when they got married, his family put in, because they put a lot of
work
homework into him.
Yeah.
And
So-
that made him fun because they were so fun.
So the first dog I pick is Hank, and he's a healer. First dog we trained in canine culture when we opened. He was very dog aggressive. We didn't realize that as bad when we started training him because we were just started here.
So we didn't have as many
We didn't have as
dogs.
many dogs. We did it because I love agility, so we did so much agility with him. He was amazing. Then he started going to group class. Allie is his owner. Christine was the grandma, I guess, and she went to group class until a couple months ago. So over 2 years
Till
she
they
went to
moved.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did the base work with that dog. He was off leash. She was amazing here. He was amazing outside. But she put the work in because she went to group class and every Saturday. And within a year, because it takes a while. If you have a dog, aggressive dog that's truly dog, wants to kill other dogs, within a year, that dog didn't even care. He was in advanced class. He was off leash with her. And it was just amazing.
And he still didn't like dogs.
He didn't like,
he
but
could
he
absolutely tune them out and
At
ignore
the end
them.
there, Daisy, they were friends.
Yeah. Oh, Lil Daisy?
Actually, yeah.
Baby Daisy? Oh, I love Lil Daisy. Oh, okay, we can't talk about all the dogs I train.
Yeah.
But Hank was the first dog here. He was an amazing dog. The owners were completely amazing, and it was just fun.
They'd still be coming if they hadn't moved.
Yeah.
Well, Hanky Pank was a lot. Like
He was a lot.
vividly remember that dog bouncing off a glass wall to go
Yes.
get another dog.
Yeah.
He
And
would
then-
hurl himself.
And then he would get up and try again. You had to stop him.
Yes. Yeah.
On a leash, he would just hurl himself to the end
Yeah.
of the leash to try to attack a dog. It's like, whoa, you're going to snap your neck,
Yeah.
dude. You can't do that.
But he was a cool dog. He's still a cool dog.
He is. And so his grandma that was so active in bringing him to group classes, I think her transformation was even
Yes.
greater than Hank's.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because she
She knew nothing about
she
handling
knew
a dog.
nothing about dogs. And I mean, her timing was
Off
just
a lot.
off.
So there's a lot of private
She
lessons,
worked so
a lot
hard
of
to
stuff.
become a good handler for him,
Yeah.
and her transformation was even more than Hank's because
Oh no, that, but yeah.
it was. I mean, she really
She did really good.
She really,
Yeah.
I didn't think she'd ever. The first couple of weeks, I thought this person is never going to be able to handle this dog because it just didn't click.
Yeah.
The timing and everything. But yeah, she really transformed
She did.
as well. Hank, our first dog at Canine Culture.
So Miss Julie, what's your second doggie?
My second dog here was Bon Bon.
Bon.
If y'all remember
I did.
him.
Yes.
Man, so this dog, I remember when I took him out and I went to the field and it was that video I showed you where he's just running around everywhere and freaking out.
Yeah, we have a cool video on YouTube.
Bon
about
Bon.
He
him
just was so scared of the
everything.
of the leash, I guess,
Yeah,
and
he was-
everything. And then he saw the fake soccer people and he got freaked out about those. And then he saw me and he was like, "Oh no!" And it was a lot. He was a 2-year-old blue heeler. He was actually there as a dual household, like another dog.
Yeah.
His brother was there, and I didn't really quite in the beginning understand all of the problems because he was found in Mexico, brought back here, and he was acting sketchy. But then there was also things going on between him and his brother. And he was just very, very, the best word would be he was just very scared of everything.
Yeah,
But he was very fear aggressive. Like this probably was the first dog that I had that would have probably bitten me if I had pushed his boundaries.
Yeah.
So I had to go so slow with this dog.
Right.
But it was a huge learning curve for me, because sometimes you want to rush through it all and you want to get to the end result and you forget that not all dogs are going to be like that. And so with him, it taught me to really take it one step at a time. I remember this dog desperately needed something other than a slip at the time. Like he either needed a star mark or a prong, but he had issues with things around his neck.
Right.
But he kept, going forward and forward and forward and lunging. So I just had to figure it out. A slip. That's all you can do. You can't force to put a prong on there unless you want to get bit. So I just had to figure it out. And so for me, it was very gratifying to be able to get to that result with him, because I was so proud of his obedience. Once he started trusting me and we kind of made that click and everything, it was very smooth sailing. And so for me, it was gratifying to be able to do that with just relationship, slip, and rewards.
Trust.
Yeah. Trust,
And the bond.
really.
Yeah.
No, truly. And so, that to me, he was definitely a very, very, one of my favorite dogs for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, Wyatt.
Well, I just thought of her when Charles mentioned it. She is one of my favorite dogs. Her name's Lainey.
Lainey!
Oh,
We
yeah.
all love Lainey.
She still boards with us.
Yes.
Yeah.
I said that
I
about
just-
board. It clicked in my brain.
You see her and she's just exudes happiness.
But explain, Wyatt, how she came in.
So
Oh,
Lainey,
God.
Lainey came in for training because she was dog aggressive.
Yeah.
Like worse than Hanky.
Worse
Yeah.
than Hank.
Worse than Hank.
And once she got triggered into red mode, that dog
That was it.
insane. Like we had to go order special training tools to get her
Yes.
attention out of red mode. We called the Laney collar we still call it Laney
Yeah,
collar.
we do.
But really,
Yeah,
Laney,
interrupting her pattern was so hard.
yeah, because she was
when she would go to that.
was-
Oh my gosh.
If
yeah.
she wasn't triggered, she was a normal pit bull, wanted to do everything, happy, fun dog. But as soon as she went into red mode, it was a different dog.
Yeah.
Laney was phenomenal. Laney is also a really good example of her owners are phenomenal.
Yes.
Because I thought, again.
They never missed a group class after training. They went to a couple more months of group classes.
Yeah.
They really,
Well,
and-
Laney,
and
about
it paid off.
6 months after training or 8 months after training, she started going to daycare.
Now, that's what blew me away. I was
I
like, what?
never
That
thought
was never
Laney
our goal. And that
ever.
wasn't mom and dad's goal. And when I found out she was going to group daycare,
Daycare.
what? And she's not eating everybody?
Yeah.
So was she human aggressive ever?
No.
No.
She
Just-
loves people.
Yeah,
I'm
just
pretty
dog
sure the
aggressive.
last time she was here, I met her for the first time, and
Yeah.
she acted like she had known me for 5
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one best thing about pit bulls is they love people usually.
They
This
typically
one was
do.
like very particular.
She
Yeah.
loves. But
Yeah.
but if you met her at the beginning, no, she would want to eat every dog. She didn't even care about people.
She
Eat the
always
dog.
loved people. But
She wouldn't
my
eat the
gosh,
dog.
She was just,
bad.
And it was
Oh.
when she was there, prong collars did nothing.
Nothing did nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had to figure that dog out because she was a like yours. You couldn't use certain tools. My lady,
They made no difference.
They didn't
nothing.
make a
Yeah,
difference.
yeah.
When she was
literally.
calm, prong collar worked just fine with that dog, or even treats and love. But when she went to red mode, it was a
It was
different
a
dog.
whole different ball
story,
wax.
right?
Lady was a lot.
Yeah, she still boards with
Very
us so
intense.
often.
She's a good girl.
Yeah, and
Love
she
lady.
is just
Who's your next-
exudes happiness when she comes into the building.
Who's your next dog, dear?
Next one, I guess, would be Sadie.
Sadie.
I'm typically, as you guys know, prefer large dogs.
I love Sadie.
But Sadie is what, a 12 or 14 pound
Maybe, yes.
Bichon.
Oh yes.
Yes,
And-
we
Yes,
lo-
yes.
You know, I'm just not so typically a great big fan of small dogs as far
Yeah.
as my own, dogs. Love all dogs. But, man, I don't know. She is absolutely one of my favorite dogs. If they ever need to rehome her, I'd rehome her in a heartbeat.
To our house?
Yes.
You're like, wait a minute.
I would just bring her home and say, honey, I have a dog.
And we're like, Sadie. They'll never get rid of their dog, though.
But, and she had no behavioral issues. She came in at 6 months old, referred by a client who'd referred to another client. So her owner was just awesome to work with because she's, whatever you think you need to do, whatever you want to teach her, whatever, just let me run the show with her.
Yeah.
And she put in a lot of hard work on all the homework to make sure it's solidified. But she's just, me and her bonded so much. I love that dog.
And she's come back for tune. We call them tune. When dogs come and we can do some more after training.
Yeah,
She comes back
and then
for
we'll
tune.
teach her new things. But just,
And then Charles just has her off leash running around this building
yep,
on Hayden
she's
Hill.
totally off leash.
She's an amazing little girl.
A little 12-pound Bichon walking through the building, no leash, staying in the heel. Last time she, did a board and tune with us when they went on vacation, I asked them what she wanted us to concentrate on. She said, whatever you want to teach her. So I'm going to teach her something. Whatever you want to teach her. I taught her to bounce off walls.
She's a cool little girl.
And she just loved to train. Bichons do like to train.
They're very smart dog.
Very smart dogs. But she's a special cutie. Sadie. Definitely one of my top 3. How about you?
My next dog was not trained at Canine Culture. It was trained someone else. His name was Max. He was a 130-pound Rottie that no one else could work with. That dog
Oh, I
loved
remember
me.
him.
That dog
He's
was
a
amazing.
Purple.
He had a purple dinosaur
Yeah.
thing that he loved. You'd hear in his kennel, choom, choom, and it would make that whatever noise dog thing squeaking. And he didn't kill it or anything. I thought he would. He just
Because it was a
loved
plush toy.
It was a
It was
plushie.
his toy.
It was his binky. Yeah.
It was Binky, yeah.
He was amazing. I'd have to take him outside to work with him because he wanted to eat. Where we worked before was small. Where here was big.
Very
We had
confined
small,
space, yeah.
and we couldn't be inside no matter what the temperature was because he wanted to eat all the peoples and all the doggies. So this owner took everything I said to heart because I'm like, okay, at home, work with him sitting and walking away. And he knows his dog is going to kill someone. No. But he put the dog on the cot in the front yard and went in the house. And he came back the next week. I'm like, Tom, I did not tell you
We
to
didn't
do
need
this.
that much walking away.
But Max stayed there.
But he
Max was
stayed
really
there.
good. He's a smart dog. He ended up really good. I don't think he did. The owner didn't do group class. But anyway, the owner worked with him a lot. He had a very good, he turned around a lot.
Yeah.
Max was a good boy, but he still didn't. We don't think dogs need to like everybody because he just didn't want to kill
I think Max was, that Rottweiler was that was a couple years, several years
Yeah.
ago. Probably had the epiphany of when we're dealing, every trainer probably comes to this on their own at some point. When you're dealing with human aggressive dogs or dog aggressive dogs, you understand your goal isn't to make them love humans and dogs.
No, just
Your
not.
goal is to teach them how to display manners and be a
calm.
well-behaved dog
Yeah, and just
around them.
Yeah, and listen and have impulse control.
So I wouldn't pet Max. At the end, I could walk him, but we're not going to sit there and cuddle and pet because he wasn't into me.
Yeah. But he loved his family. He loved his owner. They had little kids too. The dog loved it. We had to explain exactly how children interact with the dog and how the dog is okay to interact with the kids. So it was a big learning curve for them because they thought a 2-year-old could climb over this 130-pound dog and the dog did not like it.
He's not a
So,
playground.
but
He's not play equipped.
That was interesting because I don't think I've ever actually had a conversation with someone like that actually needed it. I talk about it a lot with people, but with these families, they needed it and they took it to heart and they let the dog have its own space, got the kids normal. It was kind of cool. The little kids could walk the dog. It was just, it was fun. I loved
Just
Max.
don't climb on him. He's
And the
not
owner would
cool.
just, whatever I told him he did, sometimes he did it too far. But I guess the dog was
he took
ready.
you very literal.
But that was good. Max was a cool dog.
Yeah. What's your next one, Julie?
My next one, I'm gonna pay. Is that the right word? Pay homage to?
Homage?
Homage. Sorry.
Who are we getting homage to?
To my first dog. Well, the first dog that I ever trained, and it was the dog that I had at Starmark. His name was Duke, and he was a 2-year-old pit mix. The first time that I brought him out, he pulled me so hard out of the kennels that I actually fell.
Oh, wow.
He actually drugged me. Like, he was such a strong dog that, and then obviously at the time I didn't know anything about handling or anything like that. So I was just kind of going with the flow. And so for me, looking back on it, this dog was just like, I did 3 months of training with this dog because this dog was during the duration of my program at school. And so we did all the way from like obedience to advanced to off leash to service dog training tasks to scent work. So to me, this dog was like that dog that I just learned all those really cool things. It was hard for me because Duke, I actually wanted to adopt him, but I'm pretty sure that my now wife would have killed me if I had done that. And
did
also
Buddy like
this
him?
dog, exactly. I had Buddy and I already had Whoopi. So it's like, all of that. I don't know. I'm sure Whoopi would have 100% hated this dog. Buddy probably would have enjoyed Duke just because they had the same sort of personality. But what I had told myself was, well, I will withhold myself from adopting this dog. And if he's still available by the time I'm done with my program, I'll adopt him. And literally about 3 weeks before we were due for graduation, a service dog company came to Starmark to get to see, like what dogs would be good dogs, temperament wise and things like that. And Duke was one of them.
Yay!
So they picked him, and then he went back to Colorado, and I found out that he actually passed. And
that's
he became
good.
a service
Nice.
dog.
Yay.
Yeah, so he's definitely like a very important part of the training life.
Yeah. Okay,
How about you?
Wyatt, your last doggy.
Well,
You have 2.
I
3.
went for, well, I came up with
You
a
have
new
a
one.
ton.
So the one I thought of, his name was Archie. He was a lab, a yellow lab.
I remember him.
Yeah, and his dad wanted a duck dog.
Right.
Oh,
right.
yes, I
That was the
remember.
first one we ever did, and that dog was insane. He was a great dog, no
He's a
issues.
great dog.
5-month-old puppy when we got him, or 6 months.
He just had ADD.
That dog, you throw a ball, he would sprint to the ball, get it, and sprint back to you. And I had to teach him how to sit next to me and drop it at my feet. And Archie is the only dog I've ever trained to do off-leash work. And then he went home, came back 6 months later for boarding, and still was off-leash healing.
Well, I remember Archie because his dad at one of the group classes, month or so after he finished training, he said he took Archie duck hunting.
Mhm.
And at that point, Archie hadn't been trained to duck hunt, but he just wanted him to get used to,
The sounds and stuff.
the sounds, seeing what's going on. And, he probably did a few things that you really shouldn't do with a dog, like let him off leash and go, you should probably train your dog before you just throw him into the deep end of the pool. But he said all the other people that had trained dogs, duck hunting dogs, they're screaming and yelling at their dogs to come back. They won't come. They won't. And he says, Archie, come. And everyone's like, what the heck? How's your dog come? He said, because they trained him to come. Maybe you shouldn't have a duck hunting dog if the dog won't come because he's off leash out in the pond. He was a good boy. He was bragging about his puppy over those.
That dog had some serious drive. I remember once, because we have some nets dividing fields here, and I threw the ball and it went through the net on accident.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And this dog, without a second thought, zero hesitation, at a dead sprint, jumped and Superman into this net. I thought he was going to rip the whole thing down. Bounced, got up, and was ready to do it again, and I had to stop him.
Yeah.
It was insane.
There's a net. You can't go through that.
No, zero fear.
Yeah, my next favorite dog's similar to Archie. So Archie was a lab, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. So mine is an American pointing lab.
I almost picked
Saber.
I was thinking Pearl.
So you almost picked Pearl, which was a lab, black lab. You trained, and unfortunately, she went to duck hunting school after we trained her in obedience, and she died in duck hunting school.
She got pneumonia.
It was super sad.
Within 12 hours.
A week or two before she graduated. It was just a horror story.
It was bad.
The trainer, should have took him to the bed a little earlier, and they didn't. And then anyway.
I didn't realize that's what happened.
Yeah, it was heartbreaking.
It was sad.
So, 6, 7, 8, 9 months later, they were ready for another dog. So this time, instead of getting a black lab, they got an American pointing lab. So this dog was the first American pointing lab I have ever trained, and I did not realize
drive.
Wow, the drive difference between a lab and American pointing lab is just through the roof.
It's like a Malinois in disguise.
It's like a Dutch Shepherd. They're just like a lab on crack.
Yeah,
it was already born with it in its bloodstream.
Yeah, and they hadn't realized quite that. The notch up they were going in and drive either.
Yeah.
But anyway, they brought Saber in for training, and it was a joy to get to work with their owners again. Saber is the hardest working dog I've ever worked with.
Yeah.
You want to teach her something? My God, yes. What do you want me to learn? And she just puts 110% into everything. She lives to learn, lives to train, to work.
That's good.
But boy, if you don't want a working dog, do not get an American dog. You will be driven insane. But super sweet dog, just golly, I just stole my heart. And I'm assuming part of that is because it was the second time we trained a dog for the family. Super nice people. And it was such heartbreaking story that Pearl had died a couple months, 3-4 months after we had trained her, and she was a super sweet dog. So that probably is a little bit of why Saber's extra special to me.
Yeah.
How about you?
So we were talking about, I had a different dog in mind, but I'm going to go with Daisy. She was, I don't know. What is Daisy? Kelly was the owner. Daisy was a little.
I can't remember.
I was going to look, but I can't. But she's a little dog. And she had the most resource guarding of a dog I've ever trained. It had a piece of paper on the ground. Well, that was its paper, and it would bite you. It would attack you.
It would now be that dog's piece of paper.
It would be combing. You couldn't comb it. It needed to be brushed. As a long-haired little dog, and you couldn't comb it. It would attack it. It would attack nails getting done. It would, if you touch his ears, it would attack the owner. And it was, what kind of dog is you?
Shih Tzu Maltese mix.
That's what it is. And it was, so after training.
Carla was it.
Carla, yeah.
The Maltese.
But she worked, so we worked a lot hard. That was a hard dog. She was a sweet dog, but she wanted to eat. She just resource guard everything. Everything was hers. So we worked through it. She
literally only weighed like 5 pounds.
Yeah, she was a little girl.
She was tiny. Or is tiny.
She is tiny, and she's gone to group class now for 2 years.
A long time. Yeah.
But
and she's an advanced class.
She's advanced off leash. She's over.
Waited a distance for a ridiculous amount of time.
You could groom this dog. You don't have to pick everything up because she's going to. I mean, she can't hurt you because she's a little girl. But it's not fun to have your own dog attack you. And sometimes the owner would be so defeated because we would do it here, take video, show her at class. We would do it. She'd get home, the dog attacking her. And it's kind of heartbreaking when your own dog wants to attack you for
Over
everything.
something that
Over,
you went to pick up.
poop. As she got to the point she had wanted to guard her poop. So that dog.
Yeah.
And what's interesting about dogs like this and about my other, not Max, but the other one, we set the foundation here, but the owners have to take that dog over the goal line.
Especially if there's an emotional or severe behavior.
Yes. And so that I love is the owners. That's how my favorite dogs are. The owners are part of it because she was in it to win it. And her dog is amazing now. So that was my little Daisy.
She was special.
She was a good girl.
Spicy is what
She was spicy.
She's
That's
still
a good word for her. Yeah, a very sweet dog.
Yeah.
She wouldn't sleep bad about it either.
Yeah.
She'd get you from
But
boy.
if they were, that was amazing how her transformation in group class. She was one of the most
her and Hinky
consistent
Her and
to
Hank.
come.
from a distance. We'd be at a park and she'd tell her to sit and we'd walk across the park and she'd still be sitting out in the middle of the park. Just wait.
She loved to learn
She loved
stuff.
to work.
But yeah, we could do this for hours and hours. Now I keep thinking about more and more dogs.
For sure, for
She was
sure.
a good example of once you get your spoiled, rotten brat dog, rules and structure, all of a sudden they're a great dog.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
and that's basically she was just
Yep.
kind of spoiled.
Yeah, and she started. She
Yeah,
was
the
7-8 months old when she
Yeah.
started, so she was
Yeah.
still young. Still, I don't know.
Well, hopefully our discussion of our favorite dogs resonated with you. It was tough for us to pick some dogs because, these aren't the only dogs we like. That's why
Yes, it was really hard.
it was
It was
really hard.
really hard.
I kind of felt disloyal by not picking a couple, but we kind of had to keep it to 3 each. For
Yeah,
time
because
frame.
Wyatt and Charles have a whole
Yeah, I
big old
have a
list
whole
right
list here, and I was hoping we'd have time. I could keep going
Keep
through them, but I
adding them to
can't.
my
Yes.
list.
Yeah. And as you guys talked, it made me think of 2 more dogs
Yes.
that weren't on my list. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I can't believe I didn't think of them. But if you'd like help with your dog, and maybe they'll be one of our favorites too, reach out to us. You can give us a call at Canine Culture or go to our website, k-9culture.com. We'd love to work with you and your dog and help you guys just have the best life together, help your dog become a joy to live with. And be sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok and see all the wonderful souls that we get to work with, and training tips that we include in there. And again, if you're needing help with your dog, we'd love to be part of your dog's training journey. Next week, before St. Nick leaves a puppy under your tree, there are things you need to consider when picking the right dog breed for your family. Things to consider so you and your new family member, the dog, have a good life, the best life together. Oftentimes, people get a great dog. It's just the wrong dog for their family.
Yeah.
It's the wrong dog for their lifestyle. They have an amazing dog, but it's the wrong dog for them, or they're the wrong people or lifestyle for that dog.
Yep.
It doesn't make the dog bad, and it doesn't make you bad. You are the wrong mix. So we want to, help you pick the right dog so you have a forever home and your dog has a forever home with you. We'll discuss, some of the important things, to consider when picking a pup. Breed has a lot to do with it. So we'll be discussing that to help you, pick a dog that's the right fit. Christmas time seems to be the time of year where a lot of people get a puppy. Please, for the love of God, if you get a puppy, don't get rid of a dog. Don't take a dog to the pound to make room for a new puppy. Yeah. That's heartbreaking. All right. So until next week, go have fun with your dog.